So, I've decided, I see a lot of people putting online their top 10 Pokemon, this, that, and the other, but never have I seen any about their favorite moves or least favorite moves. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do one with my favorite Pokemon moves. Not going to be any kind of special video effects or anything like that. It's just going to be me talking. So if you don't like it, tough shit. Starting number 10, it's actually a combination of three, which are Blast, Burn, Fire, which is the fire attack, Frenzy Plant, which is the grass, and Hydro Cannon, which is water. All three are special attacks and the ultimate type moves for starting Pokemon only. I wish they'd actually transition that to outside of the starting Pokemon, like any Pokemon, like how they do with Draco Meteor, but then again, I can't really say too much about it. I'm not Pokemon, so I can't really tell you what goes on in their minds. All of it, the three of them, they have 150 base power, 90% accuracy, and they take one full turn to recharge after each attack. The only reason why they're on my list is because I've used them in the past, and they do have good value, but if your starting Pokemon is not a special attacker, it really is not something you want to put on your list, and most of my are physical. I always go for the more physical attacking, but that's just me. I can't say what you guys would do, but that's the only reason why they're on my list to begin with. Coming up with number 9, which is going to shock a lot of people, my 9th favorite move is actually Struggle, and it's a normal physical attack. You damage yourself, but it's only used whenever there is no moves left, which is a very good staple if you know that you're going to go up against a Pokemon that's weaker than yours, and you're just trying to, I guess the way to say it would be like legendary, for instance, like if you wanted to use moves such as Spite that would cut their PP down, and also the pressure ability, you give them the reason to use Struggle. They actually damage themselves, so you're not really doing any damage to them, and you can just use, status attacks, which will help you in the long run by doing so. So that's one reason why I use it on my list as my 9th favorite attack, is just because it's an attack that's really not an attack. It's something that goes on. It's a struggle for them to move and fight you. So that's why it's on my list. Number 8 would be High Jump Kick. It's a physical fighting attack. It's got 130 base power, 90% accuracy. The only downside to it, which is one thing I do not like about it, is if you miss, you severely damage yourself and can pretty much cause your Pokemon to faint. But it's on my list because it is one of those powerful moves, and being a powerful physical move, say a Pokemon with Moxie, like a Scrafty, use that, and it really does do a lot of damage with Moxie, because the attack is increasing each time, so based off of what you're using along with it, like status increases and stuff like that, it's really good, but it also can be damaging yourself. So if you're going to use it, I'd suggest something that would have an accuracy boost, such as a move. And on my list, all these, it's actually funny about this is all these moves are, generations 1 through 6, yet they all end up existing outside of generation 6. Like every one of my favorite moves none of them are in generation 6. I should have said that beforehand, but I'm saying it now. My number 7 favorite move would be Magnet Rise. It's electric attack, status increases. It doesn't increase anything, but it makes immunity for ground type move for 5 turns. It's very strategic with electric Pokemon, mainly because the biggest weakness for an electric Pokemon is, of course, ground type. So this actually gives them the ability not to be damaged by ground type. And some electric Pokemon, we'll go with Pikachu for this example, can actually use Grass Knot, And Grass Knot actually would do excellent against a ground type. So using Magnet Rise plus Grass Knot would actually be a strategic plan, and a lot of people don't use that as strategy. They just think, oh well, it's just going to make them levitate for 5 turns, which is not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be for the, I guess, for strategic, properties. Number 6 on my list is Stockpile. It's a normal status increase. Increases your defense and special defense 1 stage, and gives you, up to 3 turns. So for 3 turns, you can be increasing your defense, your special defense, and only to for a move, or you can do it for a lot of different reasons. If you spit up of course is going to attack, damage them. Swallow is going to restore your HP. So it is strategic, but in itself, only in itself, is the reason why I've got it on my list, because of this special defense and defense increase. So that's something that some people should think about when they decide to do a move set. Number 5 is actually a tie like number 10. Number 5, Will-O-Wisp and Toxic. I couldn't decide which one of those I liked better. Both of them are status effects, and only difference is the type, which Will-O-Wisp, of course, fire. Toxic is poison. Toxic's been around since, Gen 1, which is, everybody loves Gen 1 Pokemon and moves. Even people that start playing games like Gen 3, 4, 5, and 6, Gen 1 moves usually are a lot of people's favorites. But both of them have, again, status affecting. Will-O-Wisp burns your target. Toxic badly poisons your target, which makes them lose even more HP each turn. Both of them make you lose HP, your opponent lose HP, but the only reason why I put Will-O-Wisp on there tied with Toxic is I use it a lot because of the fact that Toxic can actually take your Pokemon down, your opponents down faster than what you want. And if you're going out looking for legendaries and training for those reasons, that's one thing you do not want. So that's why I've got both of those on my list, and I didn't put Poison Powder or nothing like that, because I just don't use them. It's not something that I don't see them being used at all. But 4 is a 3-way tie, which the reason it's 3-way tie is they all kind of complement each other, and it's a combination that, of course, a lot of people know. Combination that I use a lot is Hypnosis, Nightmare, and Dream Eater. Everybody knows what Nightmare does, and Dream Eater and Hypnosis, is a good has a really good combination. Hypnosis, coupled with Dream Eater, everybody's been knowing that from Gen 1. When they introduced Nightmare, damages a sleeping Pokemon, really, really important, strategic move set. But to use the 3 together, like everybody knows, that's probably like the greatest thing you could do. Most Ghost Pokemon can learn those 3, so it's pretty much a Ghost staple. If you don't use Ghost Pokemon, then you probably know of that, but just don't use it. Not really much more I can say on that, because it's pretty self-explanatory. Hypnosis puts you to sleep. Nightmare, while the Pokemon is asleep, damages you. And, Dream Eater, of course, drains your opponent Pokemon. So it's pretty simple. Number 3, I chose Acupressure only because, you see, it was a big dispute between 3 and 2, but Acupressure should have went to number 2 had it not been for the reason why I chose number 2, which I'll get to in a minute. But Acupressure really is one of my favorites. It's a special, or a normal status, I'm sorry. It randomly picks just one stat, and it raises it by 2, and it's not just for the Pokemon that you're using, but in a double and triple battles, it does give you the option to choose one of those. But I mean, it's pretty much, it's really hard to stop that kind of move set with Acupressure, because you're gonna have things that's not gonna be very effective for your strategy, but acupressure is a perfect move for most Pokemon, just because it does increase it by 2, and you can get lucky and have it increase if you're trying to go for the defensive. Acupressure can twice in a row choose defense. So, you got to look into it like that. It gives me number 2. Number 2, as I said, difference in 2 and 3 was very minuscule. But number 2, Scald. Scald being a water special attack, 100% accuracy, 80 base attack. It's really good for, any Pokemon really can use that's water type should have this at least as a, a backup water attack. Most people would go with Surf, for 2 reasons. One, it's transportation. Other, because it's a stab. But Scald, I think everybody should put that on any Pokemon that can learn it should be used. And one of the things that I want to say about Scald is with a 30% chance to burn your target. But not only that, but I actually found out in Gen 5 that Emboar can learn Scald. Now, even though it's more of a physical attacker, having Scald on there when they have a rock type really is going to do some damage. So you want to think of things like that based off of what you're doing. Which leads number 1. Number 1 is a 4-way tie because I could not decide which one of these 4 I liked best. Pretty much all 4 of them have the same effect. All 4 of them are pretty much a staple in any game that I play for all my Pokemon. Which acupressure should have been on this top, in the top, but there's no way I could have counted it into it. So just go ahead. Number 1 is Coil, Quiver Dance, Dragon Dance, and Hone Claws. And I'm going to just tell you right now, this is the greatest movesets that you'll ever see have at least one of those 4. I've went against people that I've had the same movesets that they did. Their Pokemon are stronger than mine, higher level, but I've used the moveset. I've put one of those 4 in the moveset and devastated their attacks. Devastated their entire team. It's amazing. Coil being a poison, it's attack, defense, and accuracy up by 1. Quiver Dance, it's about the only bug Pokemon move that I will actually like, is with Quiver Dance because it's special attack, special defense, and speed up by 1 stage. Dragon Dance, your attack and speed is 1 stage, and Hone Claws, attack and accuracy. Out of those 4, I prefer, Hone Claws, personally, because Hone Claws can be learned by, it's, TM. I mean, you can use it by a TM, so it's perfect for, training. But with Dragon Dance, and Quiver Dance and Coil, those have to be learned. So, most of it by leveling up or things like that. So it's really difficult to find it. But Hone Claws by far is the easiest one to get access to, and about the only one I would choose to use for it. So pretty much that's my top 10. But I did have actually an ultimate combo that I came across while playing Pokemon X was Torment and Encore. If they're used simultaneously, like one Pokemon uses Torment, one uses Encore, or a Pokemon that knows both Encore and Torment, if used together, your opponent's Pokemon can only use Struggle. I found that out to be really interesting. Because Torment, of course, you can't use the same move twice, and Encore makes you use the same move twice. So your Pokemon is going to struggle no matter what, because it cannot use that same move twice. So I found that to be kind of interesting. I don't know if it was meant that way or what, but that's just how it ends up happening. So I figured I'd share that advice with everybody and let everybody know that. I'm also going to be doing a video for my top 10 favorite Pokemon. But as I said, I wanted to do it my favorite moves before anything else. So that's about all I got to say. So like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Peace.